the Detroit Lions today. This might be a little bit tougher. Now, they did notably make a huge move at quarterback, adding Jared Goff, saying see ya to Matthew Stafford. They also have new head coach Dan Campbell at the helm here. NFL.com has a State of the Franchise series. Adam Rank asks one simple question, Nate. We're going to ask you that same question. In order to compete in 2021, the Detroit Lions need to do what?
They have to establish the run game. And I know we've been talking about this every single season, but this is a time where you have to lean on the run game, especially with Jared Goff learning the playbook, trying to figure out his rhythm, them shipping out a couple of wide receivers, no more Kenny Golladay, no more Marvin Jones. DeAndre Swift last year showed some glimpses. I mean, that guy is a fantastic talent. He has speed. He can get up and down the field. He can get north really fast. He can also catch out of the backfield like we're seeing right now. And what did they do in free agency? They went out and they got Jamal Williams. The very high intensity, high enthusiasm, high energy running back from the Green Bay Packers, and they need it. I know I said we mention this every offseason, but just check out the numbers. The crazy nugget here is that only 4 times in the last 116 regular season games since week 14 of 2013, that's back when I was still playing football, the Lions rushed over 100 yards in a game. That's just 4 times. The fewest individual rushing 100-yard rushing games. Like, just think about that for a second. In a day and age where offenses have versatility, they have quarterbacks that can only use their legs, but they can pass the ball downfield, but also hand it off to their running backs. The Detroit Lions are sitting at the bottom of the pack. That can't be that way. You look at what the Minnesota Vikings are doing with Dalvin Cook. They can establish the run game any game they want. All across the board when it comes to the NFC North, the Lions, they have to do that. I love Jared Goff, but you don't want to have to lean on his arm week in and week out. So hopefully what they have in the backfield this year will suffice.
Yeah, they took a second-round pick on a running back, DeAndre Swift. They're hoping that this year he could be the guy. And, of course, Jamal Williams, they're hoping is an upgrade from Kerryon Johnson a year ago. I look at the Lions. You know, yesterday I came on the show and I said how Matt Patricia is so well valued in New England. And all I heard from were Lions fans saying he had no connection with the players. He couldn't communicate. He was not the head coach for our team. Now we've got our guy. Well, what's the identity? We know Dan Campbell is an alpha, and we know that he can give good soundbite, but it's not just Dan Campbell. To me, the Lions need to identify what they want to be and establish it. And by doing so, they have hired so many ex-players on the coaching staff. It's not just Campbell, who was an NFL tight end. Anthony Lynn was a 2-time Super Bowl winner. Aaron Glenn was great with the Jets.
What a crew.
Mark Brunell, Pro Bowl many times, the quarterback. Deuce Staley comes from Philly. Antoine Randall L comes from Tampa, where he was the wide receivers coach there. Hank Fraley, an awesome offensive lineman. And Kelvin Shepard, a recent player, is going to be coaching the OLBs. That right there is 8 different people on the staff who can come in and coach and look to these players in the eyes and say, I've been there, I've been in the trenches. And that doesn't even mention Chris Spielman, who's really at the top of the org chart when it comes to ex-players in Detroit. We're gonna have an identity in Detroit, and it's not gonna be one about analytics, and it's not gonna be one about, hey, here's how we would do it theoretically. It's gonna be done based on experience. It's gonna be done based on here's how I did it, and it's gonna be done based on toughness and grit. I don't know if it works. This is a different look and a pendulum swing that's way different, just hiring the young offensive wonderkind and kind of building this new offense out and saying, here's what the trend of the league is. No, they're going ex-player just about every major position in the coaching staff, and they're saying, coach, hands-on, and there's gonna be no excuses. I'm fascinated how this experiment works. 8 ex-players all on the coaching staff, all playing a huge role in Detroit.
It's the greatest Sandlot coaching staff of all time. I don't even think it's close. So they got that going for them. But Peter, I think we need to go a step further, and I think we need to look at the big man, Dan Campbell. I think you need to establish more than identity. I think you need a muse. I think you need an edge. And I think you need some nasty. And Nate, I know you gave many pep talks many times to the Detroit Lions about the history of that city, the history of sports in that city. If I'm Dan Campbell, I'm having a slideshow. And here's what I'm showing them. This is going to be us, guys. This is what we're going to be, the bad boys. We're going to be Bill Laimbeer, way out on the perimeter. Mark Aguirre, complete bad dude. Everybody on that roster, whether it's Rodman, James Edwards, Buddha. This is what I need Trey Flowers to be. This is what, God willing, I'm hoping Jeff Okudah can be. Bill Laimbeer, again, listen, maybe there's a late hit. I don't condone it. I don't coach it. I don't suggest it. But oops, maybe it happens. Maybe we do get a celebration penalty. I don't hope it happens, but if it doesn't, believe me, I'm not going to make the guy run the next day in practice. It has been years and years of mediocrity and blah in Detroit. How about a little edge? How about a little nasty? Bad Boys Part 2. They got the head coach for it. I think they might have the personnel. We'll find out. You got to have an edge, and I think it comes from Isaiah, Lambier, Mahorn, et al. Go for those.
Yeah, I think we'd love to hear from Lions fans. What is a reasonable expectation? I think what I'm hearing here at the virtual breakfast table, playoffs probably not, but finding an identity, using those former coaches, like you're saying, being gritty, whatever Dan Campbell lays down. I mean, if you look at it, TJ Hawkinson, who's been on our show, he's the longest tenured offensive skill position player on the team. He was just drafted like a minute ago, I feel like. And on defense, I mean, none of their starters have been there for longer than 3 years. They're young, they're impressionable. If a will can be set and an identity can be formed this year, I think that would be